Hello, and thank you for joining us for another update on MarkTwainZephyr.com. Also, our Facebook page and our Twitter page at Mark Twain Zephyr. I'm Robert Tabern, Director of Passenger Development for the Wisconsin Great Northern Railroad. Just spending my Sunday afternoon here with the shovel nose of Injun Joe and the Mark Twain Zephyr right here behind me. It is Sunday, January the 17th, 2021. And got some exciting things to share with you for this weekend's update. First, let's check in with Bob, who has been putting some finishing touches on some of the interior work on the Tom Sawyer car.
I don't know, but since I left, I don't know if you all knew that the heat was hooked up on this end now.
Yeah, it's been, what, about 3 weeks? You had some nice time off there, and you're back?
I wouldn't call it time off, just working in a different area for the family.
Oh, all right.
Gonna finish out and wire a nose in on this side, and now it's to the point of kind of waiting for the guys to bust a bunch of stuff out on the other side.
It's almost too warm in here, believe it or not.
It's hot. It's hot. Soon, I talked to, as soon it'll get regulated. Right now it's just running open, and it's hot outside. When they're in here working, they just turn it on and off as needed. It could probably be off for the evening.
I see we have one of the original doors. I think Beverly's working on that.
Yeah, all of the doors are, I think all of them were in existence except for one.
Wow. So that is the original door of Mark Twain Zephyr.
Getting done in the little private little booths in here.
This is where the luggage racks were, right? Any idea what we're going to put a little booth in here?
There's going to be a little table with 2 small seats is what I believe. Don't hold me to that.
Maybe turn it into my office?
No, I don't know about that. My office, maybe not. This will be your office because it comes with a small seat. The toilet.
So we're going to leave this the toilet area.
Yeah.
Men and women's.
Yep, on each side. I don't think it'll be a men's and women's. It'll just be
2 restrooms.
Two bathrooms.
All right.
These are just about ready. Got to kind of figure out where the toilets are going to go. We don't have many options.
Where the hole in the floor is?
Well, if it lines up and it works, there's not a lot of options because there's so much stuff underneath to try and cut through to relocate it.
Okay.
It is really difficult, and then we have to get tanks underneath.
Yes.
So there's, the water lines and all that. That's nothing. It's just, it's a major hole.
Oh, what is that?
We'll have the tile that'll go through here.
Oh, is that the final decision for the tile?
That is the final decision.
Oh, that's the first I've seen of that.
It has a pretty cool pattern to it, and
it does.
Everything laid out right. That pattern will come right down the center of the floor.
So behind us, this will be carpeted.
Correct.
And then that will be the metal floor here will be that tile.
And that pattern, I'll lay it out right. So when you walk in, you'll have the center of the pattern coming through this way.
Oh wow!
And the center of the pattern going through that way.
Perfect.
This side.
What have we been doing in here? It is. Roasty toasty.
This is pretty much done. I got these are pieces that are getting pre-painted for the ceiling down in the Huck Finn.
Oh, okay.
This closet just needs some wallboard in it.
What was in here? I don't remember.
It was just an old closet.
Like storage?
Yep.
Okay.
Be the same.
Okay.
Have to throw a small wall in here with a door access the power room.
Okay.
For the most part, this car is getting narrowed down.
Yeah.
That's why we're moving on to a couple other things until they get a bunch opened up again.
Yeah, you're working on our new dinner train cars.
Correct, and it's just hard, when you get down to the nitty gritty like this, to sit and spend a whole day here.
Yeah.
Because some things still need to be prepared. So we'll work in a different area where things are ready to go until everything else is done. Gotcha.
And I know they're working on demolishing the Huck Finn. And you're going to show us that next Sunday's update.
Next Sunday, and
all right.
We'll go through how we're going to put that back together.
All right. Thanks so much, Bob. Appreciate that. We'll check in with you next weekend. All right. Thanks a lot, Bob. And as promised, we have another crew who's working on the Huck Finn, and Bob will take us on a tour next weekend through that and show you some of the demolition work that's also going on the Huckleberry Finn at the same time work is going on at the Tom Sawyer car. All right, up next, we're going to send it to our operations manager, Nick Turinetti, and he is about 7 miles away from here on our off-property shop location where some work is going on the trucks. Nick, take it away.
Hey guys, Nick Turinetti, operations manager for the Wisconsin Great Northern, and you guys are back out here for an update on the Zephyr trucks. And I guess the first thing we can show you is when you were out last to check out what we were doing, we had just started work on this truck. We have finished stripping off all of the brake rigging and most of the other small parts that are going to eventually go through the bead blaster and get cleaned up. And we've moved this truck outside into our lovely northern Wisconsin weather for January. And the next step that we're going to have to work on is actually we're going to need to work on pulling out this part of the truck, which is called the bolster. So this part of the truck is where the car actually comes in contact with the truck itself. All the weight, usually rests right here. And these are cross stabilizers, so there'd be like a pair that kind of sit like this, and that's what keeps the car stabilized. And what's unique about the Zephyr is that because it's articulated, there's only one truck shared between two cars, and that's what kind of makes these pedestals a little bit unique, is that they lay side by side and help with sway on the train when it's operating at high speed or at any time, basically. So removing the bolster here is going to allow us to pull out the leaf springs, and obviously the leaf springs have seen better days. They might put in another 300,000 miles when they become part of a vehicle,
Wow.
as scrap. But we're going to need the easiest way to pull these things out is actually being able to lift the bolster out, and then they can be rocked out inwards. Wow. Once we've done that, we'll be able to continue disassembling by taking off the drop equalizers. There's swing hangers on the inside that'll come off. So eventually what we'll wind up with is just the frame by itself. And once we've been able to do that with the other 4 trucks that are up here,
There's 2.
these are the next 2 after we finish with this one and the one that's inside.
Okay.
We'll be able to get a sandblaster up here. We'll sandblast them so that they are free of any sort of debris or obstruction, and then we get into the process of looking for cracks and making sure that there's no damage that we can't see from a visual inspection. And once we get a clean bill of health with that, we can actually start towards putting them back together or correcting any issues that we find. And we'll be talking about new springs, new axles, new wheels, and then reassembly. So
Okay.
Yep. So
That's that one. And
we
then,
moved this one out yesterday.
Okay.
And we're actually moving on now to the second truck, which is kind of in the background when we started off. And what I've kind of done in the process of taking these things apart is I sort of divided each truck in half.
oh.
So each pallet in here has half of an axle's worth.
Wow, look at all that. Wow. So all this and all that was
So
just from the
very first axle
outside.
out the door.
Oh, wow.
And some of the pieces here have had, they've got bolts that obviously haven't had attention in 60 some years.
Okay.
Rather than smash the bolts so badly that we were fighting against them to get them out, we've left some of the larger pieces intact. Like you can see some of these, some of the hangers for the brake shoes and stuff like that are still in one piece, and we'll get the bolts pressed out so as to avoid spending too much time fighting with something that we could be doing something else with.
Wow.
And right now, we're kind of just in the last stages of stripping this truck. We got all the rigging off yesterday. We're in the process of, there are equalizers in here that have come off. There are some bolts and studs on the bolster that we're going to have to, or that we have cut, just so it's easier for it to lift off when we are to that point. And we're getting close to being able to roll this one up then too.
So then you would roll the other 2 back in from over there?
Yeah, and what we'll wind up doing probably is we'll fully disassemble those 2 out here because We don't actually have tracks in our
Yes.
in our offsite shop location, so we actually have been rolling them around on pieces of plywood to keep them from making grooves in the pavement or out on the blacktop. So we have to make sure we move those fully out of the way on pieces of plywood before we can move the next batch in. But we also, we've got 8 pallets worth of brake parts right now.
Wow.
And bringing another set in without having made progress is going to clutter the space up, so we're going to have to be careful about when and how we do stuff.
So maybe a silly question, but something I'm wondering. You said back outside, you said that the actual car of the body just connects in with where the circle area is. Is that all that really holds a train car onto the trucks? Is it just that center part? It's like a pin or something that goes down in there, or
it depends.
is it more complicated?
Some depending on what sort of service they're in, or passenger cars versus freight cars. Most equipment is just literally held on by gravity.
Really?
We'll have a kingpin that goes through that will have a nut or a way to keep it. In the event that you have like a rollover, which nobody really wants to talk about.
No. Yeah.
But for the most part, these things are largely held together by gravity.
Really? So once you get this work done, actually putting the body of the car, which Bob and Phil and the other guys are working on,
Yep.
will be pretty easy then. There's not a lot of things that connect, or
nothing is as easy as it looks. But, it will largely be a matter of making sure that the bolster on the truck fits into that bowl. And
okay.
Then, the Zephyr is a little unique because they're stacked. There's one that's lower and one that's higher, and they fit together. And then they have a pin that goes through that to help with the transmission of forces.
Okay.
This was just a regular passenger car truck. All of that's transmitted through the frame. And you have couplers and all that sort of stuff that's used to connect them. So the Zephyr is a little unique in that the truck and the bolster is doing a bit more work than it would be otherwise.
Okay. And you were telling me a little bit off camera, this will be, once you guys do this will be good for about 40 years from now?
Yep, actually this is...
So you have to do this every 40 years?
This is part of a 40-year cycle of rebuild that cars go through. So this train has probably never actually had a 40-year rebuild. It was only in service for about 23 years.
Yeah.
So it's going through essentially its first full inspection and rebuild.
But that'll be good until
we're good for
2061. Mark that on your calendars.
Yes, and I'm going to guess I won't be the one doing the next one, but
who knows? I'll be 82 and you'll be in your 70s. You might come back for it.
I'll be at the point where I can point and tell people what to do.
Oh, there you go. From your walker. Wow. All right. Well, very cool. Still want to find out. We're still going to get to the machine down there. We run out of time again.
Yeah, and we're still waiting on an air compressor.
Oh, okay.
Trying to locate one.
All right. You promised me you'll show me the magic machine down there. All right. We'll do that.
Running, we'll make sure we get it.
All right. Well, we'll check back with you in a week or two. Thanks a lot, and amazing hard work out here. Keep it up, guys.
Thanks. See you guys later.
Bye. All right. Thanks a lot, Nick. Have a couple more things to share with you real quick on the Sunday afternoon. Earlier this week, while our demolition crews were working on the Huckleberry Finn, they were tearing apart a wall and came across an old buried ticket box that was kind of been buried for decades now in the wall. They called me up and came out of the office and just shot a little bit of what they found. Let's take a look. Well, sometimes here we make exciting discoveries, and what have you found?
A couple old tickets. I'm not sure how old, but pretty old.
Tickets?
Yeah,
oh, wow.
More in there.
And you found them in this box? When you were...
Yes.
This is the bathroom, right?
Yeah, but outside they had they stuck the old tickets, so...
Was it in the... Oh, was it in the bathroom? Or, no, outside?
Outside, yeah, in the box.
Okay.
And it says Burlington route. It's got the...
Oh, my gosh. Look at
sure.
this discovery.
Yeah.
It didn't have a city or anything on it, huh?
No, I'm not sure. Passenger... Preserve this check until taken up.
Oh, so it would have been maybe the passengers?
Yeah, I don't know how old these are. I have no idea.
Wow. And where exactly was this? Let me back up so you can So it was
Here
in the.
was the box on the wall. They put the tickets in, and then on the bottom was this. And
Oh, okay. So this was closed. When he found this, this was closed off against the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Very cool. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Look at that.
We found some in other trains. You know, they were back in the 80s, but this is a lot older than that.
This is a
The last time this train would have ran, who knows? That's probably
1958,
Well,
and that would have been, or possibly
There's no other way they could have got there.
no. Have you found anything else like this while you're demolishing, or anything else cool? I know we found the soda bottle back in like October or something.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure if anything else, but if we do, you'll be the first to know.
All right. Thanks so much. All right. Thanks a lot, Lance, and all of our crew who is working hard on the demolition of some of the interiors of the Huck Finn. Again, we'll get to see that next week just a little bit more. One final thing before we go, I'm not sure how many people are familiar with the actor Michael Gross. He was, of course, probably best known for his being the dad on Family Ties, but he's also an avid rail fan, also enjoys model railroading and riding trains, and during a recent reunion of Family Ties over Zoom, we had the chance to extend him an invitation to come up to the Wisconsin Great Northern Railroad, as we heard that he was following the restoration here of the Mark Twain Zephyr. Let's take a quick look at that.
Director of Passenger Development at WGNRR. We would love to invite Michael Gross to Wisconsin Great North Railroad in Spooner, Wisconsin. We know he likes trains and would love to host him for a day of riding our trains. Sounds fun, Michael.
He's a train fanatic.
So there.
All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed all the updates here on this Sunday afternoon from the Wisconsin Great Northern Railroad. Mark Twain Zephyr, the shovel nose of Engine Joe right behind me. I'm Robert Tabern, Director of Passenger Development. Keep following us on MarkTwainZephyr.com. Also, our Facebook and Twitter pages at Mark Twain Zephyr. Until next week, we'll have another video update for you coming up on the 24th of January, and we'll be posting pictures throughout the week, of course, here as well. So until then, we'll see you later, and thanks for following us.